The Dallas Mavericks snap a 4-game home losing streak by getting a 127-117 win over the worst team in the Eastern Conference. This is the Gray Area right here on Kevin Gray Sports. My name is Kevin Gray. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to hit that subscribe button right there for all things Kevin Gray Sports here on YouTube. The Dallas Mavericks got a 30-point, 10-rebound, 9-assist effort from Luka Doncic in this game to snap a 2-game losing streak where the Mavericks were 2-5 in their last 7 ball games. A desperate win that they needed to have against a team in the Detroit Pistons. Yes, that was a feisty team under head coach Dwayne Casey, but at the same time, the worst record overall in the Eastern Conference. The game, though, did not go down without a fight from the Detroit Pistons. They came out hot in the first quarter, shooting nearly 64% from the field. Jeremy Grant scored 15 points in the first quarter alone. They were down, were the Mavericks, 36-33 at the end of the first quarter, and we know how poor they've been at the end of first quarters this season. But in this game, though, they improved to 12-23 when trailing after the first quarter. This was a game that saw some subtle changes with respect to some defensive strategy, but also in the lineup. Rick Carlisle had talked about the idea that lineup changes were potentially on the table for this Mavericks team to try and give them a boost as they try to move up the Western Conference standings. You saw that in this game. Maxi Kleber did not start. Dwight Powell did start in this game, and he was able to provide them a lift. Dwight Powell in this game scored 6 points in nearly 12 minutes of play. 3 of 4 from the field, had a couple of nice dunks, provided them the energy, the leadership, and the hustle needed in this particular game to go against a feisty, scrappy Detroit Piston basketball team. The Dallas Mavericks scored 52 points in the paint. They also had 21 second chance points in this game, where overall they wound up shooting 50% from the field. Defense was optional, especially in the first quarter. Both teams did wind up shooting over 50% from the field in this game. The Dallas Mavericks even shot 50%, and the Detroit Pistons shot nearly 51% from the field. Detroit did shoot nearly 41% from the three-point line, but at the same time, it was the second quarter that was decisive in this game, where the Dallas Mavericks outscored the Pistons 34-22. Jalen Brunson was absolutely terrific, especially in the first half, scoring 13 of his 18 first-half points in the second quarter. The energy was needed to be brought in this game for a team that's going to be seeing the Los Angeles Lakers come in the next couple of games with the return of one Anthony Davis after a 9-week layoff, missing the last 30 games due to a calf injury and tendinosis in his leg. He is going to be returning for the Los Angeles Lakers. I asked Luka Doncic after the game, did this team play with the kind of energy needed that it had to have and refocus after these last couple of days off to get themselves a win? Here's what Luka Doncic had to say. Hey, Luka, you talked about this team needing to play with more energy. Did you feel like the team played with more energy, especially in the second quarter and throughout the second half?
Yeah, I think it was way better today. But we got to transfer that to every game. We got to play hard, play with energy, and do it every game.
So Luka Doncic saying, yes, we played with the kind of energy and focus needed, especially in that second quarter where they turned things around defensively to be able to put themselves in a position where they were able to maintain the lead in the third and fourth quarters. Luka Doncic capped off the night, his 30-point night, with a long three-pointer to send the Detroit Pistons home, ultimately down losing 127-117. As I mentioned, Jalen Brunson was spectacular in this particular game. He wound up with 20 points, 18 of those coming in the first half on 8 of 12 shooting from the field, shooting 50% from the three-point line. I asked Jalen Brunson after the game, did this team return to the kind of mental state needed to be able to come out and get a win against a Detroit Pistons team that, yes, is at the bottom of the Eastern Conference with the worst record in the East, but at the same time, a well-coached, disciplined team under head coach Dwayne Casey? Here's what Jalen Brunson had to say after the game. Jalen, you talked about this team getting back in the right mental space in order to come out and play the way that you need to, obviously with 18 points in the first half. What was that mindset, especially in the second quarter, that changed after what happened in the first?
Yeah, we just had to bounce back. Didn't do what we wanted to do in the first quarter. Our offense kept it in it, but when it comes to winning games, and we're going to have to play some defense. We're going to have to play in lockdown and stick together. And even if players are making tough shots, we got to tip our hat and still stick together. We can't get frustrated over things like that. We got to continue to have that next play mentality. And so I think we bounced back pretty good tonight, and we got to continue to do that.
So Jalen Brunson reaffirming that this team, especially after a couple of days off, needed to come out with the right mindset, but continuing to have that right mindset going forward as they welcome in the Los Angeles Lakers, as I mentioned, the returning Anthony Davis. This is going to be a serious test for a Mavericks team that is still trying to find themselves moving up in the Western Conference, but now at 31-26, back to even at 14-14 at home on the year. Will need to continue to build on the momentum in a game where, yes, this game was not the best in terms of execution at times, but more importantly, this was a game where you had to reestablish your confidence after going 2-5 in your last 7 games. You even saw a little bit of zone defense in this particular game from the Dallas Mavericks, and you said, Kevin, you really shouldn't have to use a zone defense against the worst team in all of the Eastern Conference. That's the kind of shot making that the Detroit Pistons were doing, especially in the first half. So you give credit to Rick Carlisle and defensive coordinator Jamal Mosley for recognizing the moment and understanding, hey, we may have to do some unconventional things, even playing a little bit of zone defense in this game to give us an opportunity where you feel like at times a zone defense is in terms of desperation when you're talking about the defensive struggles that this team has had. But, hey, you have to try anything at this particular point to try and get yourself a win, and that's exactly what the Mavericks did. I also asked Tim Hardaway after the game with respect to this particular win for the Mavericks, what it was about this team and the message that had to be sent over the last couple of days to try and get them back into the right mental frame of mind to be able to get a win. Here's what Tim Hardaway had to say after the game. Hey, Tim, what was the message over the last couple of days about getting back into the right frame of mind to be able to come out to have a performance like this to get a win?
I mean, I don't think there was any message that really needed to be said. Just go out and play harder, play more aggressive, and will your team to victory, basically.
So Tim Hardaway in this game, who finished with 15 points on 6 of 13 shooting, said, look, there really wasn't much that needed to be said. We had to come out and play hard and get a win against a scrappy Detroit team that was looking to try and get the upset as far as the game was concerned. You got 19 points in this game from Kristaps Porzingis, who was a +5. Yes, he fouled out in this game, but he had 19 points and 7 rebounds on 6 of 13 from the field. Dorian Finney-Smith got the defensive player of the game for the second half work that he did on Jeremy Grant. He scored 11 points in this game, was an overall +12, 4-7 from the field. After Jeremy Grant had a terrific first half, only had 11 points in the second half altogether to really stifle the Detroit Pistons from the hot shooting start that they had, especially in the first quarter and in the first half. So Dorian Finney-Smith earning the defensive player of the game in this particular game. But this game was about the heart and the effort from a Mavericks team that you say, look, Kevin, this really wasn't that impressive of a win. You should have beaten the team that, yes, only has Jeremy Grant as its real scoring threat and real shooter on this team. And you saw Corey Joseph, who had over 20 points in this game. Sadiq Bey was able to hit a couple of shots from the three-point line. But a win is a win in this league, and you have to take them where you can get them, especially for a team in the Mavericks that was struggling with confidence, struggling with fatigue, it looked like, but more importantly, struggling with the idea of getting a win in the win column. And yes, you had several guys in double figures: Dorian Finney-Smith, Luka Doncic, Josh Richardson contributed with 12 points. We mentioned Jalen Brunson's 20 big points, 18 of those coming in the first half. Tim Hardaway with the 15 points that he had. You even got a better second half from Willie Cauley-Stein, who finished 3 of 4 from the game and had 8 points. J.J. Redick hit a couple of three-pointers also. This was a team that needed a collective effort from all of the guys in the rotation tonight to really give themselves an opportunity to win this game. You shouldn't need that much help when you're playing the Detroit Pistons, but at the same time, a win collectively for a team was extremely important in a game where you also defensively had 8 steals. So you saw the scrappiness, you saw this team get after it, even the zone defensive concepts that they used to try and get themselves an opportunity to get some confidence in playing a little bit better defense. We know that over the last 7 games, this team defensively is 25th in the NBA in defensive rating and just 22nd overall in offensive rating. So you do what you've got to do in order to get a win, and more importantly, give yourself a little bit of confidence going into the next couple of games as you take on the Los Angeles Lakers, knowing that you're trying to still catch a Portland Trailblazers basketball team that's in front of you, but more importantly, trying to put some distance between yourself and the San Antonio Spurs and the Golden State Warriors. As it stands right now, the Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs are a full 3 games behind the Dallas Mavericks, which is important, obviously, as you're trying to close the gap with the team in front of you in the Portland Trail Blazers, who have the fourth most difficult schedule in the final 15 games of the season. Meanwhile, the Dallas Mavericks having the second easiest schedule. You've got a couple of games left in this homestand as you take on the Los Angeles Lakers before you go on the road to take on the Sacramento Kings, the Golden State Warriors, and these very Detroit Pistons. So this win was much needed in this game where you're able to get a lot of contributions from a lot of different guys. Yes, Kristaps Porzingis fouled out in this game, but at the same time, you saw this team, at least for one night, come together and get a team win that was much needed in this game. Again, 52 points in the paint, 21 second chance points, 8 steals, really getting after it, especially in the second half. Things turned around, especially in that second quarter for the Dallas Mavericks to give themselves a terrific opportunity to win this game, outscoring them 34-22. So the Dallas Mavericks now 31-26 on the season, improved to 14-14 at home, get a win. Yes, not the best win, but a win nonetheless against the worst team in the Eastern Conference. Now sets them up for the next couple of games as they get ready to take on the Los Angeles Lakers and the returning Anthony Davis. You shot 50% from the field, nearly 38% from the three-point line. Hopefully now a confidence booster going forward where a team now in its final 15 games really need to put the pedal to the metal as they play these 15 games in the next 25 days. It's going to be a tough road, a difficult schedule as far as the travel is concerned and the amount of compressed games that you're playing within that schedule, but at the same time, a team that has some ground to make up and now has an opportunity to do so. The Dallas Mavericks get a 127-117 win over the Detroit Pistons. They move to 31-26 on the season, 14-14 at home as they get ready to welcome in Anthony Davis and the Los Angeles Lakers here at the American Airlines Center. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Again, be sure to hit that subscribe button for all things Kevin Gray Sports here on YouTube. This has been another episode of The Gray Area. We'll talk to you later. Peace.